This is the morning catch-up with your host Finch and Nomtebo. Welcome to another exciting episode. Morning catch up with Estate South Africa. I go by the name of Gonele Finch Tusi. I am your host, and today we have an amazing production. It's happening at the National Arts Festival. It's called The Moon Looks Delicious here, and I have Aldo on the line. Hello, Aldo. Good morning, and how are you
Hi,
today?
hi. I'm very well, thank you, Tusi. I'm very well, thank you.
I'm also great. I'm so excited about The Moon Looks Delicious here. Please tell us more about it. How did it come about? And also,
Yes.
what is the play about?
All right. Well, it's called The Moon Looks Delicious from Here, and it's an autobiographical play. It's a one-man solo performance in which I play a various list of characters. And it explores my experiences as a first-generation South African, born and raised in Durban, to foreign parents who came to see to establish themselves in South Africa in the 1960s, and how that they negotiated the tightening grip of apartheid and its eventual collapse. So it's interesting because it looks at apartheid through the eyes of a foreigner or somebody who's trying to navigate themselves as a foreigner, as a resident of um, but also as somebody with foreign ancestry. So I think it's amazing. Even if I say so myself, it's amazing. It's done incredibly well overseas. It won an award at the Bite Size Theatre Festival earlier this year. It's breathtakingly beautiful, even if I say so myself. Yeah.
Amazing stuff, amazing stuff. So you were telling us about awards. Where has the performance taken place before? What other countries
Sure.
specifically?
Yes. Well, mostly local, but one international performance. So let me just talk you through that. I kind of launched it. I was invited to launch the production at the University of KwaZulu-Natal in Pietermaritzburg at the Maritzburg campus. And then from then on, it did a short sort of little tour of KwaZulu-Natal, where it performed at the youth festival, the Jongozi Youth Festival, which is part of the Hilton Arts Festival, where it was sensationally received by a young audience, right? People who are maybe 20, 25 years and younger. And then I applied for the Bite Size Theatre Festival at the Riverside Studios in London. And it was accepted as one of 27 productions. And I had 5 performances there, did very well. And then on the last night, they had an awards ceremony, and I didn't even think anything of it because I didn't understand it fully. And the last award, which was the special jury award, was for my play, best everything. And I was just so gobsmacked. I wasn't even sure that I was, yeah. And it was just a really
Amazing.
beautiful surprise. So yeah,
Congratulations,
thank you
congratulations.
very much. Thank you very much, honey. Yeah.
I'm so excited about the play. And firstly, am I correct to say it's a play? Is it a
Yes.
is it a production? Is it musical? Or what can we
Yeah. No.
expect?
I mean, it falls beautifully under the category of poor theatre, like what
Mhm.
Mbongeni and Gema sort of pioneered in our country with Woza Albert.
Yes.
And I've taken that sort of model on. I studied theatre at Jacques Lecoq when I was a young man. So I'm very well equipped in the art of storytelling and of performing as a solo performer. So as I say, it's a one man solo performance, but there's a special little ingredient, and I'm not going to tell your viewers and your audience what it is that really ties it all together. I'll give you a clue. It revolves
Mhm.
around a family heirloom that my
Hmm.
grandfather kind of made, was passed down to my father and passed down to me. And so this kind of family heirloom kind of knits the whole thing beautifully together. and it's a beautiful metaphor for
Yeah.
intergenerational, intersectional kind of living, right?
Mm.
So the world that my grandfather inhabited as a Maltese Egyptian
Wow.
was different to what my father, as the descendant of a Maltese Egyptian sort of heritage, was finding for himself here in Durban in South Africa. And then he married a beautiful woman from Mauritius, and then me and my brother, we came along, and so there's all these kind of flavors that are interwoven, the language. And of course, the world that you and I are growing up in now is vastly different to what even your and my parents experienced when they were young people. Technology, human rights, social justice, environment, all of those kind of things are radically different to how we experienced life as young people. So there's that to negotiate as well. And that's what I think young people find so brilliant. So, Finch, one of the most
Mm.
beautiful layers of this play is
Yeah.
also how that it weaves a very sort of touch history of South Africa from like the 1960s to
Wow.
1994, with just a few key moments woven in that are very, very poignant and dramatic.
Mm.
And there's no sort of there's no grand blaming or anything. It's just like we are all trapped in this weird,
Yeah.
horrific situation that's playing itself out, and and that's what I think young people are really attracted to, the intersectionality of
Mm.
that. For more and more, especially when I performed in Pietermaritzburg, more and more young people came to me and saying, "Oh, my father's from Ethiopia, my mother's from Zim. I'm
Yeah.
studying in KZN, but I'm
Mm.
going to go and work in Canada, and my wife is maybe Japanese."
I love
So
that.
all of those kind of things are fleshed
Intergenerational.
out in the production. Yeah,
And
yeah,
then would the production obviously be more for high school students?
absolutely. Senior high school and university students really, they get it.
Yeah.
They just so get the intersectionality of it all. We talk about race, gender, heritage, all of these kind of things, identity, belonging,
Yeah.
otherness, how that you
Nice.
can even be, uh, even in your own community, there sometimes if you don't tick all those boxes, you can really find yourself on the outskirts of a community that you really love and feel like you belong to.
Mm. That is so interesting. And maybe tell us more about, I mean, you mentioned Hilton. Tell us more about, are you wanting to show the show? I mean, take the show to more high schools after the fest?
Well, yes, and I'd like to take it over internationally as well. I think it's a great ambassador. My program when I travel overseas, well, I can't say as if I'm saying it as if I do that often, right? But it's just like I've had one international flavor, and it turned out to be amazing, right? To win an award like that. But my program is especially for foreign audiences and for young audiences. At the back of my program, there are little touchstone references like we used to grow up with this expression like exe. Um, what are you doing, exe? These are like colloquial little things that a foreign audience, I think, can enjoy. And when I was growing up in Durban, the word rabbit, if you were a rabbit, if people called you a rabbit, it meant you were a gay boy or a gay man.
Yeah.
Those are very sort of local references that have been there. And so the play also doubles up as an archive it's like a barometer of South Africa between sort of 1960 and 1994. It's
This is
really beautiful in that way. Yeah.
absolutely interesting. And what would be your process like? Would your process be that I mean, how does it look like? Do you go into a rehearsal space? Does it happen into research wise? How
Yeah.
do you come up with your process?
So, so 99% of the content of my play is autobiographical. There's like 1%. For example, I don't I don't remember, I don't know what it must have been like, say, for example, for my parents, when I, as a young boy of 17, was conscripted into the National Defense Force and given a rifle to go and kill people. You know, that was a standard thing for white boys. You had no choice. You could object, but then that meant jail and solitary confinement. But for many white boys, that was a standard thing to do, right? But for my parents, I don't even know how they really felt about it, because my parents were
Mm.
kind of really struggling to just put food on the table and to
Yeah.
negotiate this new country and the demands of this new country on them. My father survived the Second World War. He saw his father being murdered in the Second World War. So he flees all of that, right? And he comes to South Africa hoping for a better life, a place where he can start afresh. And now his sons are being conscripted to go and fight in a war that he didn't, for politics that he didn't agree with, you know? So I don't know what that conversation between him and my mother was like. So I intuit and I write what that could have been like. And it ends up being reflective of many, many people who, you know, South Africa is interesting, as you know, hey, Finch. I mean, people
Yeah.
have always left this country for
Hmm.
whatever reason. They've always left, and they've always come to this reason, to this country
Yeah.
as well. You know, for whatever reasons, whether it's opportunism or to flee the horrors of their own homelands, they've come to our country. And there are
Wow.
people who are raising their kids to leave this country in search of better futures overseas. So our country's always been like this departure lounge or arrival lounge of so
Mm.
many different cultures. So basically, to answer your question, I kind of have identified key moments in my life, and
Yeah.
I've laid them against key moments in our history, like what was it like when apartheid was collapsing? What was it like when we had our first
Mm.
democratically elected president? What was it like when passbooks became such a big thing for Black people in this country?
Mm.
What was it like for us to have domestic workers? You know, so all of those kind of things are negotiated through the eyes of me growing up and listening to my parents talking about these things. So I look at all of those, and then I write out kind of like a dialogue. My play is poor theatre, but it's also heavily dialogue driven. So from
Yeah.
the dialogue, you can get where they are, what's happening, and for me, that's almost. I don't want to say this in an arrogant way, but it's almost pure theatre, because all your senses are engaged. You've got to like think, listen, hear, see from the body language where we are, what is happening. Nothing is given to you. You have to work really hard as an audience, and before you know it, the play is over. And I have so many people come to me saying like, I can't believe that was like an hour and 15 minutes or 70 minutes or whatever. That was incredible, you know? So, yeah.
It's so interesting. At the moment, we are speaking to Aldo Brincat. He has a beautiful performance happening at the National Arts Festival. Aldo, we're so interested. Also, we're reading your bio right now. You are a ballet dancer. Tell us
I
more
used to
about
be, yeah.
that. Yes,
I
so
used
tell
to
us
be,
more
yeah.
about
So when I was a young man, I was a ballet dancer. I started really late. I started when I was like about 21, which is really late for a ballet dancer. And I had a gift, I think. I had a gift, and within a year, I had won an award for South Africa's most promising young male ballet dancer. This is back in the day, probably before you were born, Finch. And then I went to pursue a career as a ballet dancer
mm,
after my studies in France under Jacques
yeah,
Lecoq. I became a ballet dancer in Scandinavia and in Russia, and and it didn't last long. Quite simply because, like for example, our lead ballet dancer, he was from California, and he'd been dancing since he was 5. And so you can imagine the impact of that sort of discipline for so much of your lives, how many of so much of your life, how it affects your anatomy, how that everything about your body is so attuned. I started really late, and I realized I enjoyed it. I got a lot out of it, but I realized I would never be a principal ballet dancer, just because you can't short circuit
yeah.
that kind of discipline. And when I realized I would always be a core ballet dancer, I thought, ah, I'm done now. I'm done.
That's
So yeah,
amazing.
that,
That's
that's my
amazing. We're
story.
so excited to see your performance. I think lastly,
Are you
as
guys going to be
also,
there?
we definitely are arriving tomorrow.
Oh,
And
great.
we definitely are going to come to each and every one of your performances.
Thank
Please
you.
let us know about your other performers or directors. I know you're working with, is it Sjaka, Bongizwe?
Shaka
Tell us, how does
September.
that, how has that been so far?
Yes, so I've known Shaka for years. In fact, um, when I came back to live in South Africa, he kind of and I settled in Cape Town. He sought me out and he said, like, I used to see your shows at the National Arts Festival for years and years and years, and now you're in my own city, so let's work together. And I was like, oh, I'm not sure about that. I'm studying visual arts at the moment at UCT. But then when lockdown happened, he said to me, please come live with me and my wife on a farm in Bloemfontein and direct in quarantine. Come and direct one of my shows. So I went and I directed one of his shows. And then from then, our professional relationship just bloomed, you know. So even this play, The Moon Looks Delicious from Here, he directed virtually from Bloemfontein when he was still living there. And that's been such an interesting journey. I would write for like about a week or two, and then we would have a live session. I would set up the laptop, and he'd watch the rehearsal, and so on. So it's really good in that. And then I directed one of his shows recently, Ons is Hier. We Are Here. There's a
Oh,
beautiful
yes.
clown show that he
Yeah.
does because I think their director, Geordie, is back in Denmark, I think it is. And so they needed a stand-in kind of director just to bring it up again for the Car Festival in April this year. So I love working with Shaka. He's easy, he's very talented, and this work is always so like kind of really pioneering. So I really, really love that. Yeah.
This is so awesome. So awesome. And we also can't wait. I think maybe, do you want to leave us with last remarks? Especially what we can expect in the show, especially for the audience. I know you've
Thank
spoken a
you.
lot about the content and the themes, which are so
Yes.
important. But
Yes.
also, what would be the last remarks, especially about the moon? Yeah.
What I would like to say to your viewers, especially the young folks who are coming through, um, the moon looks delicious from here is a beautiful reminder of how we are all storytellers, how we have more than enough material to create stories here. How everybody belongs to a community that is rich with stories that need to be told. And it is through the telling of our stories, no matter where you are, that healing and what's the word um, that healing, forgiveness,
Yeah.
liberty, all of these things that you're looking for, how that they can come. And so it doesn't only serve yourself, the
Mm.
benefits are to your community as well. And then, of course, if you can subscribe to things like poor theater and physical theater, then you don't have to worry about spending money on props and costumes and makeup and lights and all of those things that are very difficult and can hold your productions ransom. You, the very, your very place in this world is an act of theater in itself. So just by putting together a small little monologue and delivering it to a bunch of your friends, trying to inhabit that story, you become theater. You become the touchstone for your community to hear those stories and to live them and for them to live through those stories through you. So come and see my play and see for yourself, guys,
Mhm.
how beautifully simple it can be and how inspiring. You will walk away thinking, I can do that.
Wow.
I can bring a buddy together, and together, if you want to work with someone, we can do that. We can do that, and challenge me and say to me, like, next year, come and see our play that's inspired or that has a similar kind of feeling as what I've just done with The Moon Looks Delicious from Here.
This is amazing. This is amazing. Thank you so much, Aldo. We can't wait to see
Thank you
your
very much,
performance.
Finch.
To
I
all of
look
our
forward to
viewers,
meeting you in person.
definitely. And for all of our viewers, it's going to be happening at the Victoria Theatre from the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th, 27th, 28th, and 29th of this month. We can't wait. And definitely
thank you very much,
Finch. Watch, as you can see and you've heard, it is going to be a delicious, delicious show. Thank you so much, Aldo, and we can't wait to see you. Have a great, great day further.
Thank you very
and
much.
We'll talk again.
Bye-bye.